Hey, I'm Shawn Kanungo. This is another episode of Dangerous Ideas. We break down concepts and frameworks that will change your life. Hey, my name is Shawn Kanungo. This is another episode of Dangerous Ideas. In this pod, what we do is we break down concepts and frameworks that will change your life, change your career, change your business, but most importantly, change your life. I've been so fortunate for you guys rocking with me during this pod. I looked at the Spotify rap. By the way, Navin is on the pod again.
Appreciate you, man. As always, for having me.
Man, I really appreciate you being on the pod. A Spotify rap came up on my feed today. I took a look at my Spotify rap, the podcast that I've been listening to the most, the songs that I've been listening to the most, and it's been really cool. People have been sending me that they've been listening to Dangerous Ideas, even though we haven't popped out that many episodes. It's on their rap.
You're top.
So thank you so much. Send it over to me. I'll put on my story. What's on your rap?
So I got the email this morning, but I haven't opened it up yet because I got to check our pod.
Okay.
I would assume it's going to be Diary of a CEO.
Okay.
Probably number one. And then music is like classic with Drake. I got AP on there.
Yep.
My music is diversified.
So you've been listening to so by the way, in this episode, what we're gonna do is break down my moves in 2024. I want to hear what Navin's moves are for 2024 because it's going to get inspiration for individuals, for creators, for entrepreneurs, and folks that are working within organizations to figure out what their strategy is going to be in 2024. And we're going to break it down here. So you're going to get an inside look at what I'm thinking about and hopefully an inside look into what Navin's thinking about. I think the title of this YouTube video, this Spotify, is your 2024 moves.
Yep.
I think that's what it's going to be. We might find something better. But I was going to ask you. So, Diary of a CEO. This is a podcast hosted by a guy named Stephen Bartlett. Absolutely blown up over the last
crazy
year. I want to say.
Yep.
Obviously, they've been running for the last 3 years. I actually sent Neve, the producer of this pod, the behind the scenes. I told her, you got to watch this video of, what's her name? Do you know her name? Emma? I don't even know, but
the girl who films, or
she is the marketing manager of Stephen Bartlett.
Okay.
Like breaking down like everything. And it was so fascinating listening to her. But why do you love the pod?
I love him as a host. I think he's one of the best hosts. He lets the guests speak and tell their story.
Yep.
And when he talks, you know he's done research for, it sounds like almost years on the guests. Like he's so thoughtful in the way he hosts. And the guests are incredible. Like I'm watching the Busta Rhymes one right now.
Right.
It's just incredible, man. Like I saw the Nick Cannon one the other day too. Like I love how he breaks it down and like you're seeing these people in a new light.
Totally.
You know?
Totally. I think what Stephen Bartlett has done really well is, been number one, focused on the production value of the pod.
Really good.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
He does something really unique with his pod where he creates these amazing trailers at the beginning. And
They're hype videos.
And that just shows the level of soul and love that he puts into his productions. Every single thing that he puts out is fantastic. Obviously, they scaled up. They're shooting twice a week. I don't watch. I love understanding the behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
And what Stephen Bartlett has been able to create has been really, really cool. So, just cool that's like number one on your spot.
Yeah, that and Acquired are like top two for sure.
Okay.
I don't even need to look at my rap. I know those have to be top two.
I looked at my rap this morning. Number one was this podcast called Group Chat.
Okay.
Number two was Bill Simmons, obviously basketball pod. Number three was I think My First Million, Sean Puri.
Sean's a good one.
And Sam Parr.
Yeah.
Number four was Not Investment Advice, a guy named Trunk Fan. I don't know if Trunk Fan
on Twitter.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Amazing pod. And number five was This Week in Startups. A little skewed because some things I watch on YouTube because, for example, Colin Samir I watch on YouTube.
Right.
All In Pod I watch on YouTube as well with Chamath and Jason and David Friedberg and David Sachs. So some things I watch on pod. So it's not totally accurate, but that's my breakdown.
No, I love it.
But listen, in this pod, what we're going to do, we're breaking down your 2024 moves. Maybe you can get some inspiration from me, from Navin. And let's go bar for bar in terms of like what our plan is for 2024. And let me give you my overarching plan. My overarching game plan for 2024 when it comes to strategic thinking, is really thinking about this idea that strategy is energy at the end of the day. Strategy is energy. Like, and the reason why I came up with this concept of strategy is energy is because I feel like I have seen more strategy documents. I've seen more strategy than any other human on the planet, because I spent 12 years at Deloitte, most of it within strategy and operations. I am on all these calls, town halls with executives, leaders. I'm literally in the conferences. I literally sit there as they go through their strategic plan. So I've seen so many of it, and I know right away if something's going to work or not. And to me, at the end of the day, it comes down to energy. So to me, strategy is energy at the end of the day. So anything that I am touching for 2024, I need energy for it. I need to wake up and have energy towards it. And if I don't have energy towards it, it should not be on the plan.
Yeah.
So strategy is energy at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, ideas are worthless. It's all about execution, right? So this is some of the things that I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking, this is what I've written down that I'm going to do, because strategy is energy at the end of the day. Last year, I took a bet in getting into this entertainment world, which was putting out this special, which was a big endeavor for me, trying to break down how that works. This next year, I want to continue that. I just don't want that to be a one and done.
Right.
So we're shooting a pilot in January of a show that we're producing. I might as well just announce it here, because it's like,
you have to. It's your podcast.
So the show is called AI versus 100, or AI versus 100 humans.
Okay.
Essentially, you take one person that's an AI, me, with the AI, versus 100 people, 100 consultants, 100 comedians, 100 artists, 100, there's one more, artists, comedians, consultants, and I think it was photographers. And so every episode, the AI is competing against those 100 people to see who's going to win.
Yeah.
So we got this beautiful sound stage. I'm actually going to it tomorrow just to preview it. It's booked at the end of January. And the reason why, and I'll get into the strategy later, but so we're going to be shooting this thing, hopefully landing somewhere, on a big platform. If not, we'll see where it goes. But it's my foray into a serialized,
right,
like entertainment world, right? So AI versus 100, I'm super excited about it. In addition to the pilot that we're going to be shooting, I want to figure out by the end of the year if we can shoot another special, but a bigger special.
There you go.
Number 2 is doing like a mini tour, like a pop-up tour, like a physical in-person tour that's Shawn Kanungo related. It's not a client. It's nobody. It's just a Shawn Kanungo tour in select cities. It's something that we've had on our list for a very long time, but just because of my schedule, it's just been insane. We haven't been able to pull off, because I think there's so many people across different cities that have been wanting for me to come through, for us to do like a show. And I want to be able to record that, put that all on YouTube. So just creating more intimate relationships with people on the ground floor. I knew I was going to go bar for bar and like figure out what.
I love this. I'm
number 1 is digital. So that's the entertainment world. Number 2, it's the physical world. So doing a tour, getting in front of people. Number 3 is to be more of a B2B creator. Like continue to be a B2B creator, whether it's through brand deals or partnerships, working with more brands to just basically provide my halo in terms of innovation towards those organizations. So doing more brands, more companies, doing more of those integrations this year. So actually being diligent in reaching out and creating outreach every week. I'm creating a goal of how many organizations we're having touch points with.
Love it.
And tracking that. Number 4 is getting more deeper into this AI realm. I created Kanungo GPT, which is an innovation co-pilot.
I love that idea, by the way.
If you haven't been able to check that out, and we can dive into it. Kanungo GPT is basically, I trained it with all my videos, all my book, podcast, and it's crazy because if you go into it and you ask Kanungo GPT, it is so specific based on my content. It's crazy. But I want to do that. I want to figure out, I want to create more AI agents that will be working for me that I can outsource. Number 5 is figuring out how I can take my content and translate it to other countries, whether it's India,
so important.
which is probably the number one place. And being able to post like full keynotes in Hindi and create an entire channel around that. So that's number 5. And then number 6 is basically this pod. It's doubling down this pod. It's 10xing what we can do with this pod now that we've set it up. And just being more deliberate around creating content, doing research, getting guests, and creating more dangerous ideas for folks. So this is part of the strategy. So this is what I'm focusing on for 2024. And yeah, I'm super excited about it.
I just want to say, I think I've told you this before too. Strategies, energy is amazing, but you have so many like terms that if we were to start an apparel brand and I was to run that apparel brand, I think we could do really well with all of your sayings.
Wow.
Every time I see you or we have a pod, you have some new terminology or new way of explaining something, which I think is always incredible, by the way.
I appreciate that.
I love strategies, energy. The whole time you're talking, I'm just in my mind, I'm like, this makes so much sense.
And it makes sense because I appreciate that. And the reason why it's energy is because so many people write, and I've done this throughout my career too.
We all have.
Which is you write something down and you don't, like, it just falls off. It doesn't happen, right? Like, I can't tell you the amount of people that I saw write down a strategy for 2020. Everybody, I remember in 2015, everybody was writing down their 2020 strategy, their 5-year strategy, what they were going to do. And it just, you create this excitement, you create this buzz when you create a strategy, and then over time you lose it at the end of the day. So to me, strategy is energy, because without energy, it's just paper. It's just a PowerPoint at the end of the day. So I want to be deliberate around all the things that I'm working towards, that I actually are building energy towards it. And let me tell you, I try to think about other things that create energy in my life, which is obviously people, collisions. And one of the ways of creating energy around something is putting a date down, putting an event date, putting something to be like, oh, by the way, something big is happening on this date.
Like in stone,
we need to move towards that. Right. So for example, if we are shooting a pilot, oh, I already booked the space. I already booked the time. Oh, we booked the tour. Oh, we booked these dates. You got to execute.
It's a simple thing.
Putting something in the calendar creates so much momentum around that particular thing. And I want to be more deliberate, like, nope, we're putting this in the calendar. There are going to be people that are going to be coming out. There's going to be things happening, and you create natural momentum when you put something in the calendar.
Totally agree with you.
So 2024, I mean, I can dive into each one of these things, but I want to, your high level 2024, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, high level, I think for me, it's 3 things. First is like the baby in the lab. So we've been growing a lot of cool things happening. Next year, it's basically just doubling down on that and doing something we haven't done really well in the past, which is planning. So like what you just said hits home to me, because in the past, we've really just kind of been doing stuff as we want on the fly, because sometimes the industry moves so fast, and clothing, apparel, things change all the time. So we don't always have dates or set release dates. 2024 is actually, this is going to sound crazy, but the first time in 7 years where we will have the whole year mapped out.
Wow.
For our releases, our new products, the new products we're developing, almost everything that we're doing. And it sounds crazy, but it's the first time that, like I said, we have dates. So for me and Dev, it's like, those dates are set. Everything's going to happen accordingly now, because it's all set in stone for us.
Yeah.
That's manufacturers, products, everything that we're doing. So that's a big deal for us. And then for in the lab, we've developed this silent basketball, which has gone completely viral. And now we're developing a new product, working with some NBA players that would take that even further. I don't want to say it on here because it's not like we don't have some things aren't signed yet, but we're working towards bigger and better things that get us excited, because now we're really creating products that are completely evergreen. Like the products we're making can be around for 20, 30 years. They can finally go into stores. So now we're starting to think bigger picture too, which has been really fun for us.
Wow.
So that's in the lab. Brown Ballers, great. It's a nonprofit. We're still growing it. The main goal for us this year is to get a team in the soccer tournament, which is the $1 million soccer tournament. Last year.
Where is the soccer tournament?
Yeah, so we played in the TBT, which is a $1 million basketball tournament. The soccer tournament happens in North Carolina. So last year, like Ocho Cinco, Steve Nash, Ryan Reynolds, Wrexham team was in there.
Wow.
This year, they're supposed to have Barcelona, Manchester United supposed to send a junior team. Real Madrid's supposed to be sending a team.
So this is like a junior team, or
no,
it's like a.
So it depends what you want to send.
Real Madrid's not sending.
Real Madrid's not sending their A team, but they're supposed to be sending like a B team, which would, in my opinion, no matter what, still be an A team. To anybody else.
Wow.
So a lot of big brands and people around it. So that'll be like a fun opportunity.
Called?
The soccer tournament.
Oh wow.
So just like the basketball tournament, and then they're supposed to have the golf tournament in 1 or 2 years. Again, another $1 million. So like these guys are doing some cool stuff too.
Wow.
So we're trying to put brown athletes on, right, and have them perform.
Well, you might be able to find some more. You might be able to find more soccer.
There's so much
brown soccer stars.
Not only is there more, there's more GMs. There's guys in the Premier League that are GMs and coaches that no one knows about, and they're all brown. So the markets, and soccer is a bigger market than basketball, let's be honest, right? And my last thing is, my most important thing is trying to build. I want to start building like for our family in the future, like me and Am, like the next generation for us. So like me and Am have started a new company and we've started a new brand, and like you know about the book now. So we want to create this series of these children's books, and we have the Married to the Game podcast, and we have 2 other things that we're working on. So I really want to double down on my personal side, because I haven't done that in the past too much. But now bring Am in and have it be like we're building for our family and the next generation, right? And just double down on that stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, some huge things, coming out.
Knock on wood, some exciting things.
And that's why I love talking to you, because it's like, you're continuously pushing, you're continuously trying new things. But I want to be able to make this, broad enough so that people in the audience, as they're building out their 2020, their next moves for 2024, what do you think people should be focusing on? Like, and I'll give a couple examples based on what I just said that I think they could take. Oh, Shawn's working on this. Yeah. Like, how can we extrapolate this to what I'm doing? To me, at the end of the day, I think the first thing is really, in this world that is completely noisy, where no one's paying attention to anything. This is a theme that we keep talking about in our pods, is being able to storytell, being able to showcase your story, being able to create content around your story. At the end of the day, in many ways, it could be through video, through audio, through an event, through a text message, through whatever way. Being able to present your story in 2024 and being authentic about it, I think is going to be a differentiator, and being good at that, because at this point, if people don't know who you are or what you stand for or what you believe in, and they don't understand your story, if you are, especially in a world of entrepreneurship, and if you're creating something, you're going to be left behind.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Talk about all the time. If you can't document yourself, you can't sell your personal brand and things you're doing, that's the most important thing you can learn how to do. And it's easy. You just got to pick up your phone, start filming, start documenting. Don't even need to edit. But that's what's going to allow people to come into your life, into your brand, and want to be a part of it, just like how you do every single day. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So I think I think that's super important, and you got to find your own sort of niche. You got to be really authentic. People do this in so many different ways. Like I know somebody that created this dinner of other leaders within the particular city in Calgary. I think that's a beautiful.
I love that idea.
You don't have to be an extrovert. You don't have to be creating, this video content. You can have a dinner with people. You could enjoy, a meal with somebody, and bring leaders together in this closed environment. And, I draw inspiration from putting together these dinners, because I know in like Silicon Valley, it's a common thing where they bring all these leaders together. And a great way of storytelling and building your brand with nothing to do with digital. Just, a dinner. It could be a group chat. It could be whatever it might be. Just like being able to storytell within a particular niche is so valuable.
I have a friend who has a newsletter. She doesn't like to be in front of the camera. I think people get nervous or scared because they think they have to be in front of a camera.
Right.
But you say there's other mediums. She has a newsletter, really successful. She just shares her thoughts.
Yeah.
Whatever she's feeling, whatever emotion, she writes it. People resonate with that and they connect with her on that. That's it.
Listen, Buffett, he just had letters. Like he would have these annual letters that he would put out. Somebody that I love, her name is Mary Meeker. She's a tech analyst. She used to create this like PowerPoint deck. It was like a 200-page PowerPoint deck that she would put out, and she would do a presentation on it. But really, it was the deck that people wanted. So like creating a piece of IP, creating a story around what you were doing, putting that out in the ether, or doing it in a very small way, in a niche way, like through a dinner. It's just, these are ways of just breaking through the noise, because the world is getting noisier.
Totally agree. So I was going to say, for like something, just to go the opposite of you, not opposite, but a little bit different. What I've been trying to prioritize is like the mental and personal health side. So like really trying to optimize my sleep, really trying to eat properly, like drink enough water, just some of the basic stuff. But on top of that, like making sure I put my phone down at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. every single day. So it's like away. Making sure like me and Am are reading, like we started reading books together. Like we'll sit down. She has her book, I have mine. Like just prioritizing like off screen.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because I feel like you said, it's so noisy, like, and it's so easy to pick this up all the time and start scrolling or start seeing what's this brand dropping or what's coming out, or what did AI do next.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something, I feel like if you're an entrepreneur, like if you prioritize that, focus on your mental and personal health, I feel like that will get you also very far in 2024.
Totally. And obviously that's something that I didn't mention in my 2024 plan, which is like a sub plan, because I think that should be like something that we should all be thinking about, which is getting good sleep, working out,
man. Yeah.
All the things that you talked about.
Yeah.
So obviously the phone is like, probably putting away the phone might be like the number one tactic that anybody can do.
Yeah.
Because it's such a time waster. Totally. I fundamentally believe that the more that you can spend on your health, the better that you're going to be in business and life. Have energy for your business, for your kids, etc. So working out.
I mean, we're both, I think, big advocates for that. I mean, you've been with Kenny and you're always posting about it. Like, I just feel like if I didn't have that, I don't know where I'd be. Like, I feel like that's a great release. Also, it's like an hour or 2 hours, again, where you literally don't need to know or touch your phone.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for times or opportunities for that. Because obviously, even if you're at home reading a book, you could get carried away. Maybe let me look something up, or let me look something I just read up on my phone.
Yep.
So that's even for us, like we put our phone in the room, close the door, like we're just out in the family room area.
Yeah.
So I think it's also being meaningful and thoughtful about like how you're spending your time and what you're doing. And like, if you know it's a problem, like find a way to like, put it away so you can focus on whatever you're doing right now.
Totally. 100%. Okay. So to me, that's something that you could extract from, my plan. The other thing I think that you can extract from my plan is doubling down on this AI thing, because I think this has been the theme throughout this entire podcast, that generative AI is here, and it is not a fad. It is not going away. It is here. It is the number one thing. If you want to up your productivity, if you want to optimize your life, it is here. It is getting so good. And it's getting great every single day. So if you are in knowledge work, any sort of knowledge work, please just experiment, play, like just figure out, how to do anything, because it's just going to get better and better and better. I made
my first generative AI video. I want just to show you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's see this.
It's nothing crazy, but like if you see it.
Wow.
I don't know if you caught it, but we did like pizza
yeah.
Just like something different. Just trying out different stuff.
Hey, Runway? What did you use for that?
So
he basically, for those who didn't see the video, he basically threw a basketball. He threw it up in the air, and then he caught it in his other hand, and it turned into like a pizza, a globe, a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah. So she actually, my editor, I didn't do it. My editor did it, but she used generative fill to
Photoshop
to map each one out, right? So it's actually not super hard, but like it's just unique. Let's say, I just like how you said it, right? Because like we're testing stuff every day.
Yep.
Because just like you, like I want to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
I want to know how to take advantage of these tools.
Yeah, and I think that's a beautiful example of just trying something, testing something out. Do we have somebody coming in?
I don't.
Okay. It's the pizza. We should probably let's
You ordered pizza?
No, I don't. Who is this? This is.
Is that even the front door?
This is great. This is great drama for the pod. People are like, okay, there's a.
She's answered the phone. She's talking to them.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's probably like some random phone call.
So yeah, like I was saying, AI was a story of 2023. AI is going to be the story of 2024.
Continue. Yeah,
and I feel like because of OpenAI and all the drama, I think it created more light into what AI is all about, and I think we're just going to blow down the doors in 2024.
Totally. And if obviously people are going to be watching this, listening, just experiment, like you said, all the time. Just go on these websites, go on these apps, and just try it out. Get the free trial, or if it's $10, just pay the $10. Just try it, because like that's what I've been doing. And like even with HeyGen, like I've seen it for so long. Obviously, been using it for a few months now. But at first, sometimes you kind of write things off. You're like, whatever. Once you get in there and you try it and you upload a video, you see what it does. That's when like the possibilities and the creative side open up, right? And then my mind races like just like you, like a million miles an hour. It's going.
I love that example because I think, to be honest with you, listening to this is not going to help you. Watching something is not going to help you. It doesn't help. You need to do something.
Yeah.
Once you do something, then that's going to unlock your mindset at the end of the day. And then you will see the opportunities as it exists to your particular career, your business, whatever. So you need to do something with this. Don't listen in. Don't just read something. Do something.
Yeah. We always say like to teach is to learn twice. So like if I learn a basketball move, if I really want to learn, I'll go teach her and I'll go teach you. Because the repetitive memory is like, okay, now I really know how to teach it to someone. So the concept would be like, you heard it from us, which is great. Now if you go do it, and you do it one more, you do it another time after that, you're like, you're getting that memory in you and like actually learning how to do it. Because like I said, I think we all fall trapped to this too. It's like, great podcast, man. Like awesome. Like Diary of a CEO, great. That's a different podcast. But if it's yours, like you always have actionable things to do. But like how many people, like you said, actually will take that and go apply it as opposed to, Shawn gave me some great ideas today, man. Totally. Like learn some cool stuff. But like a year from now, they still wouldn't have even tried that because they're just relying on you to relay that information to them so they can't get ahead.
Yeah. And I think everyone's guilty of this. I'm certainly guilty of this
of course.
As well, that you're pounding your brain with all this stuff and you're not doing an ounce with it. But I think, especially when it comes to something so tactical like AI, like you just need to try it.
Yeah, need to experiment.
So I think the AI piece is something that you can extract from what I'm doing. I think the other thing that you can extract from what I'm doing is actually doing things that are in person and doing something that's incredible and done with and made with love. I just actually got off a call with a really great thinker and thought leader. His name is Seth Madison. He's got this new idea around made with love, which I absolutely love. Like I'm just like jealous that I never like stole it from him. And I believe in this so much. If you've been listening to this pod, which is like do something that is extraordinary at the end of the day. Do something with soul. So whether, we're doing something on tour or we're building relationships with brands at the end of the day, how can I do something that's not just a cold email outreach? How can I do something that feels incredible, that brings people together, that looks incredible, like just breaking through the noise in person by doing something more, whether it's time or effort or money, like just, like again, it's like breaking through the noise in person. Somebody meeting with me in person saying, hey, I met with Shawn and that was an incredible presentation. That was an incredible meeting. That was an incredible pitch. Something like that just catches people off guard. I just want to do more of that instead of sending these LinkedIn messages and cold emails. That's not going to get people's attention. Okay. I want to spend time creating things that are extraordinary.
Yeah. I love that. And I feel like you're on that pathway. Every time I'm on Instagram and I stop, there's a reason. when I stop on your content because it looks so good. It's like it's catchy, it's engaging. So I feel like you've been applying that for so long. So I'm excited to see like how much further you take it.
Yeah,
next year.
I'm talking about in person. You're talking about Instagram, but I'm talking
in person's a whole different thing. So that's why you kind of mentioned the event. That'll be exciting to see what you do. Obviously, I've experienced one of your event, your last special.
Yep.
So I know what you can do. Then I saw the party for the book launch. That was elevated from the first one.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, for me too, I'm also expecting bigger and better things. So I'm excited to see where you take it, as you keep evolving it.
Yeah, I think it's what I feel from doing those in-person engagements is that, and I see it when I do these keynotes, like when we spend the time to like create these incredible motion graphics and it looks like a rock concert, like people feel it. They feel the effort. They're like, wow, this is something that we haven't seen before. And it goes so far at the end of the day. So I think that the thing that you can extract from this is whatever you're doing in 2024, make sure that it's remarkable. Make sure that it's extraordinary.
Be different.
Okay? Yeah. No time for mediocrity in 2024.
Yeah, agreed.
If you're doing something that's mediocre, which is funny because we just talked about AI, and I think the outputs from AI, like if you're getting like a song, if you would, like really it's that stuff is kind of you're getting, it's mediocre. But the reason why you have to experiment with AI is because it is going to be the wave and it's going to help us be more streamlined and optimized. But really the outputs are going to be mediocre. What really makes something extraordinary is you and your authenticity and making something that has a lot of effort at the end of the day. So whatever I touch in 2024, it has to give me energy and it has to be extraordinary and remarkable. And that's how I want to put things in my calendar. Like I guess the last thing that you could extract from the strategy is like momentum around those particular things. Put something in the calendar and have the world conspire around a particular
that date. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
2024.
We need to. You got some good clips in this one. That last one you just said, that's the Bible right there. That's how you start the episode.
Hey, I think so. Anything else that we can extract from your 2024, just like that will be broad enough so that people be like, I heard Navin's strategy for 2024. What can I do for my strategy in 2024?
I think
my moves.
I think a lot of it you've touched on. You just said it more eloquently than I ever could. But I think the biggest thing is just doubling down. Like you said, on the things that give you energy, but the things that you love. So the things that you're doing, like double down on them. I'm sure just like me and yourself, like in the past 2-3 years, especially since COVID, sometimes it's just so easy to get distracted. You're wanting to go this way, then a side hustle pops up, or like you see this TikTok video, how to make $1 million, and you see this and that. Or you see someone else on LinkedIn doing something, and you want to maybe, should I pivot? Or should I, not continue on my straight path? And I feel like you just need to double down on the things you're doing, trust in it, believe in the process, and just like go with it. Because if you do that from January till December, I'm sure you'll be in a lot better place.
Yeah. Any metrics that you are, you don't have to say them, but are you driven by metrics at the end of the day?
100%. So half my life is basically e-commerce. So almost everything we do is like is analytics based, right? Whether we're running the ads, whether we're posting new videos, but of course, most importantly, when we're selling the products.
Yeah.
So this last 6 months has been really big for us analytically. And then going into next year, we're basically trying to like 10x everything, which is like, for us, is like a huge deal in terms of numbers. It's more upfront costs. It's bigger headaches. It's bigger stress. But it's like, we're finally at this point where we feel like, let's take the risk now, or we may never be able to do it again.
Right.
Just with our momentum and everything. So analytics are everything for us, from like I said, sales to obviously the social media posts and views. But even recently we have like a Laylo. Laylo is like a text message list. We have our email marketing list. They've been like going crazy lately. And we've been monitoring these more and more. Yeah, it's crazy. So Laylo, have you heard of Laylo?
No.
So Laylo is like the best app, the best thing you can do as a creator. I should have told you about this earlier. So Laylo is a text message list, okay? Everyone uses it. Usher, Nelk Boys, Mr. Beast, everyone has it, okay? You get a phone number and you start creating drops. So let's say you have your book drop, you have actually you should do this, by the way, for your next event. You create custom drops, custom graphics, custom messages people get, custom schedule messages, and you start building your list. But the best thing about it, for people to sign up with Laylo, you can get a DM. So if I say, hey, DM, so Dev always does this, DM silent. If you DM silent, Laylo automatically connects to our Instagram and it messages your Instagram back saying, hey, you're now signed up for this drop. So when our drop comes out, you're actually going to get an Instagram DM. Right? Instagram is probably the best way to interact with your customers and get sales. Since we started doing that, in
e-commerce,
in e-commerce, since we started doing that like 6-7 months ago, like things have like drastically changed.
Wow.
Because we're in the DM. Text is different, email is different.
Yeah.
But also it sends them a text email as well. But once you get that DM and it says it's ready for you, you're a VIP, click right here and buy it.
Yep.
Our conversions have like gone through the roof.
Okay.
So actually Lalo is a great thing for you to sign up for all your events and book drops and everything.
Okay.
I think you'll blow up with it.
Okay.
Sorry, that just came.
Write this down.
That just came to me.
Okay, I love it. Okay, let's give for 2024.
Yeah.
Top 5 podcasts, top 5 books, top or maybe even content recommendations that will get people the up in 2024. Like we're already kind of like in December 2024, so 2023. So 2024, any podcasts that people should be listening to? I know we just started with the rap section.
Yeah.
Any books any recommendations?
I think depending where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, but if you're an entrepreneur, like How I Built This is like a very classic one. Diary of a CEO is good, but I really like Acquired. I feel like the way, I know you did this, so you posted about too, the Louis Vuitton episode and so many others. Like, I'm pretty sure you did a whole PowerPoint, actually, a presentation on it, maybe.
Oh man, but I would love to one day.
Just the way they break it down and the history you get to see for some of these brands and how they've built up and the things they're doing and not doing, the ups and downs. Like you can learn a lot through it because everything they were trying to do, to be honest, like has been done, right?
Yep.
Obviously AI is different, but everything else has been done. So likely what you're building and doing is someone's done it. So you just need to follow their path or find a way to manipulate it. I always say steal like an artist, right?
Yep.
You take what they're doing and steal it and put your own spin on it. Now it becomes yours. That's podcast stuff. I would say books. The only book you need to read, if you don't read books or anything, is you need to read the bold ones.
Wow,
obviously,
there you go.
That's a plug. That's honestly a great book. If you haven't read it, you need to, because it really does show you the power of being bold and like it has examples. So like you said, like you can take that example from his book, then go look it up or watch some YouTube videos about those individuals and what they've done and learn from it. And then Power of Habit. I always recommend this to people, even like kids, like read The Power of Habit. It's like that book will allow you to, I think it's by Charles Duhigg.
Yep.
That book will allow you to unlock so much, especially if you struggle with keeping things consistent and just understanding like the power of having good habits, really.
Yeah. No, I love that. Great.
You got some good ones, I know.
Yeah. I think for me, as you enter into 2024, top 5 podcasts for me would be number 1, probably This Week in Startups by Jason Calacanis. What he does is he breaks down all the newest tech, all the newest AI developments. Jason's an amazing moderator. He has actually a second podcast called All In, which is, I think, great from a macroeconomic perspective. Just seeing, where the from a global perspective is, from a global economic perspective is, I think it's a great pod. Number 3 is My First Million by Sampar Shampuri. And the reason why I love that, and as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as somebody that's in business, is they're always talking about ideas, like new ideas that will disrupt particular industry. And there's not just tech examples, or like they could be everything. Like boring examples, like tangible, like brick and mortar examples, like and to me, that pod gets my mind going in different ways. Number 4 is probably not investment advice, because they break down, just break down like current events in sort of interesting ways. And number 5, I'm going to do a tie, which is this pod called Trapital, and a new pod by Joe Pompliano, which is around sports. Like
I love the Joe Pomp show. Actually, that's my third, probably on my list.
Yeah, because I think what those two do. So what Trapital does, it breaks down the business of music, and then what Joe does is he breaks down the business of sports. And to me, those are really interesting, because sports and music, they're culture. And they're basically doing the business of culture. And I just find it inspirational, because I think that as the world becomes like this melting pot, that we're all actually in this business of culture, and understanding what works in sports, in music, in media, entertainment, in finance, economics, and beyond is really, really important. It gives you a great macro view of the world as well. So I think those are some of the great pods. I think the books that people should be reading in 2024. I mean, you got to give shout out the bold ones. Number one, of course. One of my favorite books is Alchemy by Rory Sutherland. Probably the best marketing book I've read in my entire life. Okay. Just talking about how you can create all these psychological hacks, tricks, magic within your particular business. It's great. And I actually reread this book every single year, which is by Peter Thiel, 0 to 1. It's called Notes. It's called actually 0 to 1. I shouldn't say that. It's actually it's Notes on a Startup. And what is amazing about that book is that he just talks about the importance of building sort of your own monopoly, like the idea that competition is for losers, the idea that you should be creating your own lane, and that's like the safest place to be at the end of the day. Because if you are the 21st donaire shop in Southwest Edmonton, you're just playing for margins at the end of the day, and I think that's so smart, right? Like just be unique, play in your own category, and that's where you're going to generate all the value.
Yeah,
I don't know why we get so. There's so many people, they want to open up they want to open up the 73rd donaire shop in Southwest Edmonton. It's like, at the end of the day, I get that there's like an influx of people that want donaire, but you're playing for margins at that point. Yeah. Unless you're like the Japanese donaire spot.
Yeah, something
I can
different.
See that.
Yeah.
But if you're competing against if prime, there's like prime time donaire and you're like prime donaire, like
it's just market
it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, it won't work.
So how do you be unique? Such a good book.
What about? Sorry, you just said your 5 books.
I didn't say 2 other books. I'm trying to think 2 other books, but I think those are the books that I would.
Those are 3 good ones. I actually have heard about Alchemy, so I'll add that to my list.
Oh my God.
I haven't read it, but I've heard a few people now say that. That's a good read. The other one that I'm interested in, I have it on my table. It's a big blue book. Is the Alex Hormozi book?
100 million leads or something like that?
I think something like that. So I have it. So that's actually my next on my list. I've heard a lot of young entrepreneurs say the younger entrepreneurs love Alex Hormozi also. Yeah. But I'm actually just curious to see what he's done, because people are raving about it. It's saying this is a lot of people are saying like this is education. This is like this is what college should be. This is what my diploma and my degree should have been in this book.
Yeah, no, I don't follow Hormozi too much, but definitely respect what he's built as an entrepreneur, as a content creator. Anybody that looks that jacked and that can build,
he's a beast.
That kind of business is, unbelievable in my mind. At the beginning, I just like many people, I get a little concerned that they're in this I don't know, I just get concerned that they are selling a dream that people can't, do for themselves. Like a guy like Grant Cardone, there's another guy, Ty Lopez.
He's big. He's big on that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like those are type of guys that they're selling something that
it's more of a dream.
They're exploiting. They're exploiting people that will never make it, basically.
Yeah.
And
I definitely see that.
I always get worried about that. So I thought Hormozi might be in that kind of realm, but it doesn't look like he is.
Yeah.
I think he created like a really successful
gym.
Yeah, gym and a series of gyms.
Yeah.
And then I think what really made him pop is that he created a blueprint or a framework on how to create gyms. Like he basically systematized it.
Yeah.
And he sold it to other gym owners. And now he has acquisition.com, which he buys like companies and he does it with his wife Layla. and obviously they're doing a great job of it. And yeah, massive respect, man.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Massive respect for what they built.
So I'll report back once I read that and see if there's any gems in there.
Well, it's I think it's great. I also am open to like just different content, different recommendations. I don't want to be listening to what everybody else is listening to or watching or reading, because I think garnering inspiration from other industries, from other fields is really important. But for me, for 2024, I just think that, just find what gives you energy at the end of the day and create the priorities that will give you energy. Mm-hmm. And if they don't give you energy, remove it. And I've made this mistake. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because throughout my life, I have taken on things that don't give me energy. I've made deals that don't give me energy. I've worked with people that don't give me energy. And I'm like, why am I in this? You're not up for it. You're not ready for it. You're not prepared for it. And it just sucks the life out of you. And there's so many things that have done that in my life, and I do not want to do that anymore. I'm just getting smarter. That's it.
I mean, with age, that's the only thing we have, right? We have to get smarter.
Exactly.
We got to use our experience to get us ahead in life. And you're hitting on the head right there.
Exactly. Any last words as we close out, thinking about 2024, on what the audience can do to just really maximize their impact in 2024? Any other things that you're thinking about that we haven't touched on?
I think you've dropped a lot of gems. I think something that's maybe a little different is something I did the last 2 years is just record a video of yourself on your phone. You don't have to post it anywhere.
Wow.
You don't have to put it on social media, YouTube or wherever. Just record a video of yourself of whether you want to do it on January, but normally I do it as a recap, how did the year go?
That's a great idea.
And just have that be your thing, because people are camera shy. That's why I say it like that. You don't want to put it out. Or just unlist it on your YouTube. One day you'll become a Mr. Beast and you can post it on the channel, right?
So as context, Mr. Beast, what he did, I think 15 years ago.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
He predicted how many subscribers that he would get by a certain date.
Yeah.
Or he's like, hey guys, I have 100 subscribers by this date, and he just replayed that.
Yeah.
And
he just put it out
manifesting.
There. Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm very big on manifestation too. I feel like you are too. Oh. So this is a very simple, clean way to do it to yourself, and then you can refer back to it. 100%. You talk about your year, set your goals out in that video, see what you're going to do, see what you're going to hit, commit to, and then look back at it in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and just ensure that you're hitting them.
Yeah. Well, so a couple things. Number one is that I kind of did this in this pod for next year.
Yeah.
But I do this on my, I do write down, and I should do a video because that's a really great idea. Because then you can get sort of what you were thinking at the time. Mm-hmm. I do put this in my Evernote. I have a list that has been going back since 2016, where I write down my goals for 2016 and looking 5 years out. And to be honest with you, some things I don't hit. I remember 2017, I put okay, best-selling book or, drop a streaming special.
Yeah. And
some things you don't hit on the timelines that you hit, but or make, this amount of money in terms of revenue. But then, throughout the years, you see that you're able to hit it. It's on your list and you can cross it off.
Exactly.
And the greatest pleasure in life is to cross off something that you're
it's an addiction.
It's been there for so many years, right? Yeah. And now you can cross it off, and now you can add new things to it. So I have a running Evernote, but I think this idea of creating a video is
it's
amazing.
Great, man. There's been a new trend. Do you use Notion?
I don't.
Or you know what it is, right?
Of course. Of course.
There's just been so many new trends lately because people said they love the crossing it out or checking that box.
Yeah.
And Notion's the new kid on the block, in my opinion. And there's all these gurus selling these templates and things you can buy. And I could just imagine so many people buying these templates just because they want to be able to, have that list and just check it out. Because to me, it's addicting, man. Just waking up every day. Not every day you're knocking these things off, but once you do, it's huge satisfaction, right? Of okay, that's done. It's more motivation, more energy.
Yeah.
Like I said, to keep going down that list. And I always say, try to make your first couple goals a little easier. Don't make them so lofty, just so you can get that satisfaction, that feeling of checking them off.
Love that.
And working towards the bigger ones.
Last question is, there's this idea of dreaming big, and
Okay.
I hear a lot of people say that you should dream big,
Yeah.
and I don't believe it. I don't think that you should dream big. I just think that you should put something down in your Evernote or create a video
Yeah.
of something that's lofty and ambitious, but something that you can do. Because going back to strategy's energy is that having these big missions and these big dreams are nice to say, but unless you are building towards it and having
That's the
energy
key.
towards it,
Yeah.
it's very hard to do. So that's why I believe in creating things that are tangible, that will keep you going to you see the next step, and then at the end of the day, you might be able to sort of hit something.
Yeah. I think you hit on the head, man. Like I think it's like for me, I'm a big dreamer.
Yeah.
So I dream big, but like you said, it's all about like the stepping stones, the blocks that are gonna get you there.
Right.
Like the anime stuff we're gonna do in this coming month. Like this is a 3-year process.
Right.
But like 5 years ago, me and Dev were like on our board, and we used to have a whiteboard in our house. Like that was the goal.
Yeah.
How do we collab with these anime brands? And the last like 5 years have been like we knew what we had to do.
Yeah.
You got to grow the social. You got to grow the Shopify. You got to grow the e-commerce side. You got to build up your list. You got to make noise so they see you until you.
That's great.
Get there. You know.
And I think it's just like most people when they dream big, they don't build like the tactical.
Yeah.
They don't see the tactical, and I'm the same too. Like I have dream big, and I feel like that hasn't worked for me. I don't want to dream big anymore. I want to do big things, and then eventually, hopefully this leads to something, continues to lead something to bigger and better. But I want to just continue to do big things all the time.
Yeah. Just be consistent with it.
And instead of it being a dream, just like I want to put things in action so that it's reality. I want to make these big things a reality.
I think the hardest.
Maybe I'm struggling with the big dreams thing.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for people when they're dreaming or doing anything around business or entrepreneurship is just like they have these ideas, but like I said, they don't know how to put it into action.
Okay.
And then they don't know how to execute it. And I feel like that's where the biggest drop off is from like the people who make it versus don't, right? And I feel like if there's any piece of advice, it's just like start an Evernote or start the Notion or start on your iPhone a note and just like put these things down. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs who still don't do this and they still struggle. And I feel like it's the simplest thing to do is like just write out your goals, write out things you want to accomplish, and just slowly work towards checking them off. And in your note, you can literally just do some tabs over and create the goals or the stepping stones that can allow you to reach that.
Yeah.
Right. If you have a big dream, there's 10 steps, write those 10 steps out, check them off along the way. Because like I said, I just feel like people aren't actionable with how to do it.
And I'm not the greatest at that. So this is good advice.
Yeah, I'm like a psycho when it comes to like organization.
Yeah, you're good at that.
And it's like I just that's how I've thrived. But I've always feel like the reason I'm where I'm at in my life is because like I'm a better executor than probably anyone
100%.
I know. And like if I have an idea, like it's gonna be executed. I don't know when, but like it's gonna get done. If I said it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So like I've always like prided myself on that. But I feel like that's all through like years of organization and like time blocking and just doing certain things that allow you to reach that next step.
No, I think it's just like, I think that's how you're wired. I wish I was wired like that. I'm not wired like that. And I am, I'm really like just, you can see like based on this pod and like you listen to me, my mind is just, I'm like, I'm not as like A-type.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if people would see me as A-type. I'm not. Like I'm all over the place. Like, and working with me, it can be difficult because like I'm like here, there. I'm like my priorities shift at the end of the day because I just, I don't know. But the one thing is that I do the things that I love to do. I do put a lot of energy into it and I work hard at it.
Yep.
It may not be the cleanest way of getting there. And there might not be like goals and steps, but I do try to work towards it. So I am trying to be better.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn how to be better. This pod has taught me how to be better, and I'm working towards it.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So
man.
Me, 2024, last thing is just be a better executor. And I think strategies and energy is going to help me do that.
Yep.
So listen, we talked about a lot of things. I really appreciate you coming on. Dangerous ideas. We're building up, man. We're building up.
Yo.
You're in this new chair. You're the first person that's in this new chair.
I feel blessed to be in this chair, the new setup. There's 2 chairs, a table, accessories.
Accessories.
Hopefully this is on camera. But I'm excited, man. Dangerous ideas, baby.
Dangerous ideas. Rate, follow, subscribe, whatever you got to do to support this pod. I really appreciate it. And we will see you on the next one.